Welcome to a future where truth is no longer hidden in words, but written clearly across the human face. Imagine a world shaped by advanced AI technology where every lie triggers a visible signal, a subtle but undeniable transformation in facial expression, skin tone, or micro-movement. In this era, deception cannot whisper in the shadows. It announces itself instantly, forcing humanity to confront honesty not as a moral choice, but as a visible reality. This is not science fiction anymore, it is the direction advanced AI prediction systems are rapidly pointing toward. For centuries, lies have shaped empires, relationships, and personal survival. Humans mastered the art of deception as a tool for power, protection, and persuasion. Now imagine that skill rendered useless by AI systems trained to read emotional inconsistencies, neural stress patterns, and involuntary facial reactions. A single untruth could trigger a glow of exposure on the face, silently revealing what words attempt to hide. In such a world, the balance of social interaction would shift forever. Daily life would change in ways both subtle and shocking. Casual compliments, polite excuses, and harmless white lies would become instantly visible. Social conversations would feel sharper, heavier, and far more intentional. People would pause before speaking, knowing that their face would betray them if their thoughts and words did not align. Authenticity would become the new social currency, while carelessness with truth would carry immediate consequences. Relationships would enter their most intense era yet. Love would be tested not by promises, but by visible sincerity. Betrayal would no longer be suspected, it would be seen. Trust would grow stronger for some, while others would watch long-hidden cracks shatter their bonds. Marriages, friendships, and partnerships would either evolve into spaces of radical honesty or dissolve under the weight of exposed intentions that were never meant to surface. In the world of leadership and politics, the impact would be revolutionary. Speeches would no longer persuade through emotion alone, because the truth behind every statement would be displayed on the leader's face. Campaigns would be decided by integrity rather than charisma. Hidden agendas would collapse in real time, and public trust could finally be rebuilt on visible truth rather than manufactured narratives. Power would shift away from the most convincing liars toward the most genuinely aligned minds. The corporate world would face its own awakening. Negotiations, contracts, and boardroom decisions would operate under a new rule: honesty is visible. Manipulative strategies and false projections would be instantly exposed, forcing businesses to compete through transparency and real value. Companies built on illusion would fall, while those grounded in ethical practice would rise faster than ever before. Advanced AI prediction systems would not merely detect lies, they would anticipate them. By analyzing behavioral data, speech patterns, and emotional intent, AI could predict the likelihood of deception even before words are spoken. This predictive layer would transform security, law enforcement, and global diplomacy, potentially preventing crimes, fraud, and conflict before they occur. Yet this same power would raise terrifying questions about privacy and control. Justice systems would experience their most dramatic shift in history. Courtrooms would no longer rely solely on testimonies and evidence interpretation. Truth would appear on faces as statements are made, reducing wrongful convictions and exposing false accusations. At the same time, the complexity of human emotion would challenge the idea that truth is always simple, forcing society to distinguish between intentional lies and misunderstood realities. Mental health would step into the spotlight. Emotions people struggle to articulate, fear, shame, guilt, and pain, could become visible without permission. This could create a more compassionate society, where suffering is no longer ignored. But it could also overwhelm individuals who are not ready to have their inner conflicts displayed to the world. Humanity would need new emotional boundaries to survive such exposure. Creativity and art would transform under visible truth. Artists would no longer perform behind masks, their authenticity would radiate directly from their expressions. Audiences would connect not just with the performance, but with the creator's genuine emotional state. Art would become more raw, more powerful, and impossible to fake, ushering in a new golden age of meaningful expression. Cultural norms would be rewritten from the ground up. Societies built on politeness and indirect communication would struggle, while cultures valuing directness might adapt faster. Education would focus less on memorization and more on emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and ethical thinking. Children would grow up learning that inner alignment matters more than clever words. However, the danger of misuse would loom constantly. Governments or corporations could exploit visible truth technology to control populations, suppress dissent, or punish emotional deviation. When honesty becomes mandatory rather than chosen, freedom itself comes into question. This future would force humanity to redefine what it means to be human. If lies disappear, what replaces them? Brutal honesty or deeper compassion? Would people learn to think more carefully, or simply fear expression altogether? The face would become a living screen, reflecting the state of the mind in real time. In the end, a world where every lie becomes visible would not be a test of technology, but a test of character. Advanced AI could expose the truth, but only humans could decide how to live with it. This future promises a civilization built on clarity rather than illusion, but only if humanity is brave enough to face the truth written on its own face. As this truth-revealing world matures, silence itself would gain new meaning. People would learn that not every thought needs to be spoken, not every truth needs to be forced into daylight. Restraint would become wisdom, and emotional discipline would rise as the most respected human skill. In a society where lies are visible, the real power would lie in thoughtful intention, measured speech, and the ability to pause before reacting. The strongest minds would not be the loudest, but the most internally aligned. Education systems would undergo a profound transformation to prepare future generations for this reality. Schools would no longer focus solely on knowledge transfer, but on self-awareness, emotional regulation, and ethical reasoning. Children would be taught how to understand their own intentions before expressing them, knowing their face will reflect inner conflict instantly. Truthfulness would no longer be enforced by punishment, but cultivated through clarity of thought and emotional maturity. Learning to think honestly would become as important as learning to read. Spiritual and philosophical movements would experience a powerful revival. With deception stripped away, people would turn inward, searching for meaning beyond appearance and performance. Faith, meditation, and inner reflection would no longer be abstract ideas, but necessary practices for mental balance. When the face mirrors the soul, inner peace becomes visible, and spiritual discipline transforms from a private journey into a public strength. Humanity would rediscover the value of inner alignment in a world that no longer tolerates falsehood. Global diplomacy would be reshaped by this new transparency. International negotiations would take place under the watchful presence of AI-assisted truth visibility, reducing manipulation and secret agendas. Agreements would carry deeper weight, as leaders could no longer hide fear, ambition, or dishonesty behind carefully chosen words. While this could prevent devastating conflicts, it could also expose fragile tensions that were once managed through silence. Peace would become more honest, but also more delicate. The concept of forgiveness would take on new depth. When lies are exposed instantly, mistakes would be undeniable, but so would remorse. A sincere apology would be visible, not spoken, allowing healing to happen faster and more authentically. Society might shift from punishment to restoration, understanding that accountability paired with genuine regret is more powerful than fear. Redemption would no longer rely on convincing others, it would rely on becoming truthful within. Technology companies and AI architects would face enormous ethical responsibility. Designing systems that reveal truth without destroying dignity would be the ultimate challenge. Safeguards would be demanded to prevent abuse, emotional harm, and forced exposure. Humanity would have to decide where technology should stop and where human privacy must still exist. The future would not reject AI, but it would demand wisdom in how deeply it enters the human soul. Ultimately, this continuation of human evolution would reveal a simple truth: technology can expose lies, but it cannot create honesty. Only conscious humans can do that. A world where every lie becomes visible would not be perfect, but it could be more real than anything humanity has ever known. And in that reality, survival would belong not to the clever or deceptive, but to the